Guys, Dr. Will here from Miami Spine and Performance. Today we're going to talk about the third phase of rehab for my knee injury. This is the phase that I'm currently in right now. So with the knee, the way that I structured my own rehab, phase 3 is really going to most likely continue for the next couple of months, whereas the last phases were about 3 weeks in length. Phase 3 is probably going to be 3 months in length, and that's because that's the amount of time I expect it to take for my knee to really get back to 100%, 98%, something like that. So again, I had 3 main priorities, so I'm going to talk through those with you, and then I'll talk to you about how I modified my training. So over the last month or so, I've started to reintegrate bilateral strength exercises. So I've gotten back to back squatting, front squatting, trap bar deadlift, leg press. I am cutting the range of motion a little bit short, so I'm stopping right around parallel. I notice once I get below parallel, I start to feel a little bit of pressure build up in my knee, but there's still a lot of benefits to doing these exercises to parallel. You don't have to go below parallel, especially if you're doing it for a sports performance purpose. So I've been starting to do those, working in sets of 3, 5, 8, things like that. I've started to integrate plyometrics, which has been really, really important, and this is a part that often overlooked in athletes doing rehab. Most sports require some level of plyometrics and dynamic work, so we want to use it as part of rehab. So I've been doing seated box jumps, I've been doing broad jumps, I've been doing some Olympic lifts, so with pretty light load, working for speed, so I've been doing power cleans from the hang, power snatches from the hang as well, doing some depth jumps, and all that feels really great. So I've been able to work up to 80-85% of max height on a box jump. No reason for me to do max jumps at this point, but I'm able to work at a high percentage, really work at explosiveness, and work on landing. And that's important for my sport since I do martial arts and wrestling, jiu-jitsu. I want to get comfortable bouncing on that leg and being stable, so the plyometrics is going to help with that. Pretty soon here I'm going to start working on multi-directional plyometrics, so jumping in an oblique direction or jumping in a lateral direction. Again, that's going to carry over to my sport. Not everybody needs to do plyometrics necessarily. It depends on your specific goal. If you're an athlete, this is an important part of rehab. If you're just looking to get back to running or something like that, or get back to Orange Theory or something where you're not going to be doing as much dynamic work, may not be as necessary to do this type of stuff. And then my end range joint training. So last phase I worked my pails rails, started to get into my cars for functional range conditioning. Now I'm taking that even further, going through some passive range holds, end range liftoffs, eccentric neural grooving, and things like that. So some of these terms might sound unfamiliar. If you're a patient of mine and you've gone through kind of a full rehab program, these terms should sound familiar. So right now, the one motion that I'm really struggling with is knee flexion, is getting my heel all the way to my butt. I'm still getting a little bit of pain with that, so that's where I'm doing some of my end range joint training. So I'm doing some end range holds using my hamstring and stuff like that. That's been going really well. Now, as far as my training, I'm back to my normal training schedule. So I'm able to, train the various martial arts disciplines every day. I am still being very careful. As of right now, the only position that's really giving me problems, again, if my knee is being pushed towards my chest too hard, I'm having a little pain there. So I'm still being safe, being cognizant, as I always have been, focusing on technique, but I'm able to do, live jiu-jitsu rolls. I'm able to do some standing kickboxing, some live work there as well. Nothing too crazy, not throwing any crazy kicks or anything like that, but I am getting a lot more comfortable getting on the balls of my feet and being a little more dynamic, and then easing back into wrestling as well. So again, probably not going to be doing live wrestling drills for the time being, just until I'm really comfortable with those multi-directional plyometrics. And once I'm able to do that, I'll probably get back to that as well. So here it is. I am about 3 months total post-injury, maybe a little bit less than that, maybe 11 weeks. So I'm currently at a great place. My knee feels great. I feel like I'm probably a little over 90% improved from my initial injury. But as you guys can see, took a lot of work and a lot of diligence. So I was probably putting in about 2 hours a week, specifically committed to rehabilitation exercises, and I made sure to sync that with my training. So I eased into training. I spent a month going very easy. I spent another month slowly integrating some of the other things that I like to do. And now this third month, I'm starting to expand my scope even more. And this type of training will probably continue. I'll continue working through this for the next month or two. And like I said, I expect my knee to be 100% within the next 6 to 8 weeks. So guys, I just want to give you an example of my own rehab and sort of how a program is structured. But as I've said in the last videos, if you do have an injury, whether it's an acute injury or something chronic, please come in, get assessed by a professional. Obviously, we'd be happy to look at it for you, and have somebody professional write up a plan. A lot of times people will try to kind of wing it, see how they feel, and they end up getting re-injured, or we have an injury that holds them back for a year, 18 months, 2 years, and we never want that. So thank you guys for watching the series. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, drop us a comment if you have any questions. Thank you.